Let's see if old Uncle Mike's home. Looks like he's got the kettle on for us. A few new ones. And you're sitting there. That always looks weird. I love my little trigger, you know, and the main reason I got it was because of all the paint on my fingers. Well, this camera is already got a little bit of paint on it, but I had a friend of mine. I have very nice lenses, which I've collected over the years. Mostly, this lens was designed for photography, landscape photography. It's great for this, though. I've almost sold it before. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, back to our talk. Okay, this is based on a chapter in my book called My Process, okay? And this is Easel Talk number 3. The 5 pillars of painting process. The 5 pillars of a very strong painting process. Now, if you watch my any of my videos, you just see these in evidence all the time, but 5. That's a great number. Let's get going. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about the 8 truths of learning painting. I think that was a great start. Now we're moving into some process stuff. And I said I was going to make all these talks really teachy. I'm going to make them somewhat teachy. If it's easy. I'm kidding. This is was a little bit of work, but mostly we're just going to do everything, you know, right off the cuff. Okay? Yeah. Process is not just a to-do list, it's a structure. It's the scaffolding. It's how you build the things you make. So you could, if you're a contractor, you know, you could be building a gas station one week and a skyscraper the next, but the basic principles are the same. You need to have a bit of a blueprint or an idea what you're going to do. You need to have a strong foundation, and you need to use good materials. Well, we're just rolling out the metaphors right and left. Pillar 1. This is a blueprint, right? That's the reference, I think. You need to really make an effort to get some good reference together. Now, what's great is everyone's got a camera now. And I'm old, you know. In the old days, we used to have to pay for film and processing, and you got like 12 shots or 24. I could be wrong about that. But, you know, you were pretty limited with capturing images. And I remember I was working in comics and stuff. Not professionally. One time professionally. Anyway, you know, it costs money to get photos, but now it costs nothing. You can go out with your phone, go out some beautiful spots. I will say it's going to take you a while to develop an eye for what'll work for you as a painting and what won't, but get started on that. Start making reference photos and then make paintings from them. Yeah. So here's the progression, the core sequence. We got the reference photo, we got the board prep, we got the underpainting / drawing, we do the sky, we do the land, we work dark to light, and then we do corrections. That's the whole blueprint for the entire process, but we're going to break it down for you here. Yeah. You want to prepare your tools. A lot of what I do, you see that I've been sharing my palette more. And prior to the palette being in the 15-minute videos, you know, it's always there's almost always a mixing session in the members area, or now the studio pass on Substack. where I would actually just even change to this lens, you know, and mix up my colors. But now I've been doing the video that's up right now, the little 3.5 by 3.5 mini. You see that there's like about 5-10 minutes just dedicated to mixing the colors, and that's a good plan. Yeah. So pillar number 2 is the order of operations. Pillar number 1 is you need to have a good blueprint. You need to have a good structured plan, okay, which is reference, board prep, underpainting, do the painting, do the sky, do the land, and then do any corrections. There's the whole blueprint right there. So the foundation, though, is the thing that you're going to be building on. And that is it's the underpainting, really. I got underpaintings around. I'm not going to dig around for them, but I got underpaintings back here behind this guy. That probably won't make it into paintings because I painted them up and I go, I don't know. I'll come back to it. And the great thing about the underpaintings is that it's like its own step, but you can go waltzing right from the underpainting directly into doing your color work, you know. A lot of times I will do an intermediate step where I'll mix my main colors, but that's not absolutely necessary either. You can just do it as you go. Yeah, but underpainting, I think it's good. There's a lot of different approaches to underpainting. I've got a lot of extensive stuff in the new book where I go into different approaches. For me, it's working on a colored ground, not white. Now, some guys will do they'll take their white canvas and they'll do a wash over it. And if you're going to do that kind of thing, you can actually do that with acrylic. I don't know if you're aware. But you could do like a sepia wash real quick over your white. Yeah, almost anything but white, my friend. Just about. Because the problem with the white, and it works for some people. Before I was writing this new book, I did a vast survey of just about any online PDF I could find. And a lot of those were from the 60s and 70s, which was a fantastic era of art books. And they'd leave little bits of white peeking around. That was their thing. And maybe that's okay with Impressionism. It sure isn't going to work. Sorry. It sure is going to work with tonalism. Yeah. Okay, so Pillar 1's the blueprint. Pillar 2, the foundation, the order of operations. I'm a big believer. I've said this on the channel a lot. A painting, I think, should look good at every stage. Now, some people think you can you can just slap down some ugly stuff and then start making it beautiful. Frankly, that could work. That could work. It's a personal preference, isn't it? But to me, it's logical. It makes sense. It's a lot harder to make something ugly into something beautiful than it is to take something that's looking nice and make it look nicer, right? Yeah. So part of that, the order of operations, we paint the sky first. This is because the sky is behind all your other forms. So after the underpainting, that is like the framework, the structure of the painting. And that's the place too. I mean, that's where you want to try trees and move things around. Get the proportion and size of your objects basically nailed down, not with a lot of detail. Now, sometimes in that underpainting, I know I was going to sky, but we're tipping back because I think the underpainting is so critical, because if your underpainting's strong, you'll know it and you'll feel good about proceeding to the rest of the painting. Now, as a matter of fact, a great method for learning is just to do a bunch of underpaintings. Just do little one-color paintings, just the board color, and I use burnt umber, but you could do black, you could do any color, and do a bunch of those. You can actually do those on even paper, really. Did you know you can work with oil paint on paper? What you do is use some of this, for many years I used the transparent acrylic gesso. Good 2-3 coats over some thick paper, you're oil painting. You're oil painting all day long. Okay. So we have a progression of underpainting into the then you're going into the color passes, the color phases. So a lot of times I will do a premix. I almost always do a premix, but there are times I won't, like on minis or if I'm really trying to save a little time. And you go, well, if it takes more time, why do you do it? Well, because it helps you get yourself oriented. And there's a lot of times, too, where I break up the process. I might do an underpainting in the morning and going to come in the afternoon and do my color pass. And then that, in a case like that, I'll try and get my colors little pre-mix going before I go home for lunch and then come back. How do you like this natural light? That's pretty cool, huh? I don't even have that light on today. You're just getting the one side lighting. I think that's nice. Pillar number 3, you got to know when to stop. And I was talking about this on the last video, and you might go skipping by this stuff. When I say just make 2-hour paintings, you go, oh yeah, it's easy for Mike to talk. You know, he's doing paintings all the time, 2 hours. He can do it 2 hours, a half hour, 3 hours, 4. It don't matter because he's always making paintings. That's true. That is actually true. But if I can get what I need to do done in a couple hours, it'll be better. It'll be better, and that's something I threw your way the other day. And this is something in the new book totally as well. It's like if you don't think you can do it in 2 hours, and you're a painter starting out, you're trying to build some muscles and get some skills. You don't go after that. Go after something. You know, for me, a tree, a lake, a pond, a path, a sky. What else do you need? You can just keep iterating on that infinitely. And some people might criticize that. And they might go, well, that's not terribly original. I'm not bothered. I'm not concerned at all about originality. I assume the originality is being taken care of because I have, first of all, lots of different influences, lots of different people, you know, going on in my head there. And that's for one. For two, I put in lots of hours and practice. So what comes out is just naturally me. That's automatically original. That's how you want to think about things. Don't try. I don't recommend trying to be clever. Maybe you think that's a good plan, and it could be something that works for you. You could try that. There might be a painter on there on YouTube that would be thinking that way too, but that's not my idea. My idea is that we use a framework or a structure to make our paintings, but each painting is a unique challenge. Even, okay, yeah, you got tree on one side, tree on the other, pond. You go, oh, you've done that a zillion times. Yeah, I messed it up just as recently. So yeah, there's a lot of factors. The shape of the tree, how many trees, where's the lighting coming in from. It's infinite. That's pillar number. We're going. Yeah, pillar number 3. Knowing when to stop. 2 hours is good. An hour. Well, you take as much time as you need to. What's really more important than how much time, because you may be interrupted. You might have a family. You might have to make dinner. You might have to do a little bit of work every day. It's the mentation I'm talking about. You don't want, if you start overworking things, they get stiff, they get tight, and we lose that, like the one thing you got going for you as a person starting out as a painter is that art is affecting you. It's making you feel something. And the reference you're looking at, the reason you picked it is because it's making you feel something, you know? And ideally, the work you create is going to make somebody feel what you were feeling, or something similar, or different, or whatever, but at least it'll get an emotive response. So, but what happens is if you start getting that perfecting mind in, it likes to stomp on and pound the emotive mind. You know, it's like, oh, I want to express myself. You know, and it's like, no, that's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. Stop doing that. Okay, well, yes. I do tend to approach painting a bit like manufacturing. And now some people go, oh, well, I thought it was fine art. And it says, when we walked in, you see, fine art gallery. my work is fine art because I am just doing the work that comes from the inside that I want to get outside. I've been a commercial artist. I've made money. I made really good money as a commercial artist in another time, in another locale. I've decided that I just want to make things that I think are enduring and beautiful. That's called fine art. But my approach is that of a person creating objects, creating artifacts. So I will have a bunch of boards prepped. I will have a bunch of reference collated and sorted and prepared. I will try to do a painting every day if I can, or that usually doesn't work out. As you know, if you've tried to follow my advice to you to do a painting every day, yeah, you might be lucky you get 3 a week, you know. But that, well, how many would you have got done if you say, well, I'm going to go for 3 a week? Well, maybe you get 1. So, pillar 4. The demolition clause, knowing when to quit. That's sort of like knowing when to stop, but knowing when to stop is assuming the painting's still good. There's going to be times, in fact, honestly, I search your feelings, Luke. When I do search my feelings, I know, like, at the reference level, I know it's not going to work, and yet some part of me believes always that I can make it work, and sometimes that part of me is right, and I don't want to stomp on that part of me. However, when you take that reference you thought was potentially iffy, and you start making your underpainting and things are going iffy, but you just keep going, there's going to come a time where you know it's not going to work, and then it's fine to just throw it away, trash it, scrape it off. You can use a bit of linseed oil to wipe it off, or spirits even, depending on if it's not too dry. Then you don't have wasted the board, but you do have that valuable experience of painting. So anytime you spend painting, this is it. I want to reiterate this because all these are tips for like making a good solid painting that you're going to be proud of. But you need to make a lot of paintings you're not proud of as well. Because you cannot just be a glorious phoenix that's rising from the ashes every day. It doesn't work like that. You've got to fail sometimes, and you got to be okay with failure. And as we were touching on in last week's 8 Truths, the difference between you and your favorite artist, he may not be better than you, he just worked harder. Did you know you could buy the book landscapepainter.co.nz? The book cost $65 US. The man or woman just worked harder. So know when to quit. Causes, 90% of the time it'll be composition. I have had paintings fail. I went through a big spate of overworking and over dry brushing things, ruining things that way. But usually it's something wrong with the composition. And composition, I'd say almost every aspect of painting is challenging. But composition is the toughest to master, and it's very subjective. Like some things that you might be able to make work compositionally, someone else may not. Straighten out my shirt here. Okay, now you can throw it away, you can scrape it off, you can, if it's got some, you think it has some redeeming possibility, don't keep it there in your drying area, turn it to the wall or something. You can let it dry. There may come a time down the road when you have a greater skill set that you'll look at that painting and go, I know what to do, I know how to fix this, and then you can fix it. Yeah, don't worry too much about that. Let them go, though. That's the thing. Get a lot of boards, make a lot of paintings, and if you make a lot of paintings, it won't be you won't be precious about the paintings you've made. That's a huge secret, and we're always going to have overlap. And again, all the stuff's in the new book and on all the videos too, right? We're always saying these things because these are formulas for success. Pillar 5, the inner architect. trusting your inner intuition and focus. You got to believe that you can win. You got to believe that you can succeed. And then that's contrasted with the truth that painting is hard. So there's a balance that's got to be struck. And the best way to do it is to fall in love with the process of painting. Just and don't have so many ambitions. I have another project I work on where I'm talking about using intuition or being able to envision the future, visualize things. And one thing I mentioned is like I have that ability. However, it's incredibly compromised anytime I get too invested in the outcome. So don't be as invested in outcomes as you are in processes, like these processes I'm outlining here. Yeah. So you're going to work on developing your focus, and it's hard. I mean, it was always hard for humans. Some people, I'm very gifted naturally. I will not lie. I have the ability to focus, and I always have. However, I can drift just like anyone else, and it's okay. Like, everyone's different. You may not be a naturally focused type person, and if you're not a naturally focused type person and you still want to get things done, then you're going to need to work with that. You're going to need to work on yourself. You're going to need to get some processes and programs in place that will help you compensate for your inability to focus. And one thing I would say is, like, if that's a real problem and then you find, 1 year's going, another year's going, you got nothing to show for your life, you got nothing to show for these ideas you have, this expressions of your insights and ideas that you want to create and make tangible in the real world. You don't have anything to show for it because you've been scrolling, or watching a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. You got to keep that in check. Except my Uncle Mike's videos. You don't want to miss one of those. Even Uncle Mike's videos. The best thing to do is, if you caught something that inspired you in one of my videos, just stop the video and go paint. I do that. I do it all the time. I'm watching a video and somebody said, in fact, last night, I thought, now that I have some help on this book, I'm like, I've got to have some recreation. I'm going to make some music, which for me is fun. Painting, of course, is fun too, but I sell paintings. I make paintings. I got a channel. I'm a professional. With the music, the world doesn't care if I make a song or not. I care. So I stopped this video. I said, I'm going to just start making some music. And I did. I made a whole musical song last night, just the instrumental. Really good. I'm really so happy. I paused that video and just got to work. Because now I have something to show. And life has meaning. Okay. Stimulating conclusion. Yeah, the 5 pillars may be not as rock solid as the 8 truths, but we're here talking. You're learning. Aren't you? You're learning? I hope you're learning. I hope you're getting some edification. Yeah. The conclusion. The 5 pillars is the blueprint, the foundation, the discipline, the demolition, and the inner architect. So, first pass. Oh, sorry. The blueprint. Have a plan. Have a process. Have an order that you approach things. Don't be flailing around like, this painting I'm going to do upside down. I didn't try that, by the way. I did turn the reference upside down, and the painting upside down. And it does work, actually. If you have a problem getting things inaccurate, you'd be surprised. That works pretty well. But something I tried. I don't do it anymore. I don't actually experiment with my process too much. For me, experimenting with my process entails now, whether I'm going to pre-mix colors or not. But the main thing, we got to grab a brush. We got to grab a brush because we love brushes. And then for the blog post, the translator can say treacle. This is treacle. Treacle. Love these. This is a 6. Yeah, so I had some paintings recently. Can you see it? This one? Very proud of that. 2-hour painting. I think it's on the channel. It's big, but it took me 2 hours because I used this brush. And I was in a space where I was like, I'm going to put the stroke down and I'm going to leave it. Yeah. So that's a part of my process that I'm developing, trying to not overwork things, trying to, it's infinite. So don't think just because you're doing things the same way for every painting that you're not being original or you're not being creative or you're not learning, because all the learning is really in the doing with painting. Yeah. So we have the blueprint, pillar 1. Pillar 2, the foundation, is the order of operations. You do the, you get the reference, you get the, you do the underpainting, you do the sky, you do the darks in the land. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but this is actually, it's all in the chapter in the book too. This is just kind of riffing off of that. And what's cool about these easel talks is that I've got chapter after chapter of all these different insights, right? And then, you know, you can just push a button and get it out of me, because this is my life. This is what I do. It's all in here, you know. Okay, so the order of operations, pillar 2, the foundation. Pillar 3, first pass, discipline, knowing when to stop. So first pass discipline means that's what I'm saying. Can you do it in a couple hours? Then do it and leave it. And you might be surprised that it's actually going to be pretty decent. You know, you could say, oh, well, my technique's not great, but I hit those notes. Those shapes look like in the right spot. You get things in the right spot with good colors. That's a good painting. That's a good painting right there. Adding a zillion more little strokes to it, no, that won't be good. That won't make it better. Okay, so that's the one of the major pillars, really, just knowing when to stop. Leave it alone. My recommendation to you is just when you have things basically roughly blocked in, if you're a painter starting out, just stop. Oh, well, I want to be like this or that painter that's super detailed. Well, okay, fine. You work your way towards that, but you got to work on your structure. All the problems of painting are structural problems. All the problems of most people's paintings. Very few of them are like how you rendered little bits and bobs of that. That's a layer over the top, and that when you put that layer over the top of something you had that was kind of fresh, and it gets all stiff, bad painting. We don't need it. Pillar 4, demolition clause. Know when to stop. Is it not going well? Is it not working? Bail. Maybe finish the painting. Finish the underpainting. By the way, that focus sound, that's a feature. That's not a bug. It's not a bug. Know when to quit. Know when to let it go. And then do another one. Don't get all hung up on it. Don't be like, be encouraging to yourself. Don't be, I can't paint, I can't do anything. Yeah, I fail. I fail all the time. I'm a professional painter. I sell paintings all the time too. You would think, oh, and I do fail less. I'll be honest, I do. That's the great thing about sticking with something and progressing, is you will fail less. The level of the worst things will just come up and come up and come up. Pillar 5, inner architect. Trust your intuition and focus, because this is a muscle. When you start listening to that voice that says, oh, that's not going to work out. Oh, well, I can make it work. I can make it work. No, I don't think it's going to work. Well, try it out, but then remember, oh, it didn't work. I need to listen to that voice. It's trying to tell me, because that voice, it speaks very quickly and quietly, or sometimes it's a sonorous hum through the entire process. It's ideally what you want. You want it there for you for the whole deal. Yeah. We're getting close to our half-hour mark, which is great. You got to believe in yourself. That's part of that. Even in the face of difficulty, you've got to believe. And so, like I've said, all these things need to be said over and over. If you fail one day, the painting you do the next day, that's not a place to challenge yourself again. That's a place to go into something that you feel like you do pretty well and consolidate some of your gains in that regard. Give yourself some support. Don't keep pushing, because what will happen is you'll break. I've seen it time and again. And we all know. In fact, you probably know people that you think are more talented than yourself that stopped making art. Maybe you kept going. And they think you're a better artist, and you actually might know, well, yeah, they were better, but I kept going. I got something to show for my time. Yeah. So the conclusion, we have the blueprint, the foundation, the discipline, the demolition, and the inner architect. It's not just steps, it's a system, right? It's an approach. It's how you support yourself as an artist, and that's a whole chapter on its own in the book. But having a process by which you approach things is going to make all the challenging stuff a little bit easier, because you won't be wafting in the breeze. You'll have a plan, and with a plan you'll be in action. Now, we got to do some promotions. Yeah, buy the book. Buy the book. Did you like my song on the last Easel Talk? I am a goofy guy. Maybe you didn't know that, because you get the 15 minutes with just the hand. It's the other way, usually. But, yeah, I'm a fun guy. So it's good you get to see me, get to know me, and get a little information. Sorry about the lives going away, because I really appreciate the people that were taking the time to show up and chat with me. When these come out as premieres, I'll be there. You can talk to me. You can talk to me anytime. I have an email. If you have questions, like I said, we've been selling a lot of this book, which is great, because I'm all about the new book. And what's great is that I worked so hard basically, I gave up my music for 6 months to write this thing. I'm working on it every day, very hard. Even I had a question from old Rich there, where on one of our lives, is it been eating into your painting? A little, but my thinking was it's going to be a searchable like index. You can find, if you're having a problem or an issue, you can find what I had to say about it. Like, how many things did I throw at you in this video? It was hundreds, which is great about Substack. The transcripts there at Substack. Even in the free area, there's a blog post which is summarizing things brilliantly. So you can go there, you can print that out, you can circle things, or just take your own notes, or even better, just kind of put it in your memory bank and just make another painting. Think, oh, Mike says I need to have a lot of boards prepped, so I'm having boards. Yeah, you don't feel like painting, you don't have the impetus, I don't feel it. Okay, well, that's a good time to do some board prep. Or that's a good time to get some reference images, and then you're going to be messing with the reference images, pardon me, and you're going to, that's inspiring. I can't wait to paint that. And I got the boards. Next day, you're going to paint it. It'll be great. And then you'll have paintings. And then, I can tell you too, we're on our way out, we're leaving. I've been doing this, I've been here in New Zealand for 15 years. I started painting a couple years before that, before I came out. And I got a painting from 2011. Very good. Probably as good as anything I'm doing now. Were the rest of the paintings I did in 2011 that good? No. A few were maybe okay, close. A lot were falling off the wayside, and the reason would have been composition or other issues. The struggle was real. But you can do amazing work at any point in your progression. So you just keep you'll do a painting. Maybe you'll do a painting after you're inspired from this video, and you're going to go you do a painting. Do it quick, do it fresh. Use the biggest brush you possibly can. Get your colors kind of pre-mixed. Boom. It's nice. It's great. You could sell it. You could give it to your mom. it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because what matters is that you did something and you pursued an activity that is meaningful, which is creating beautiful art. I think it is meaningful. Is it intrinsically meaningful? Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, we got the AI making art right, left, and sideways all day long now, which is fine. The world didn't need the art before the AI was making it, but we need art. We do. We need to do things, and we need to express what's in us. We need to be able to share that with other people. So go ahead, turn off this video, go make a painting, and then I'll be back for another easel talk. And this was pretty teachy. I hope you enjoyed it, and until I come back with another easel talk for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor and do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, and stay out of trouble.